There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. It's so nice to have you back. T-Duck is back with us, everybody. Fantastic to see you here, and thank you for bringing things back to normal, the situation that we're used to in the morning with all your fabulous content on the screen. Thank you very much, T-Duck. Let me just check that I've got the right microphone in use. Always good. Yes, here we are. Talking through the richest of equipment and processing. Great, excellent. Okay, glad to see so many of you here this morning already too. Alongside T-Duck, we've got Coach Turner with the God Squad tip of the day. We've got James, Ola de Bafanasla, got here as fast as I could. Doesn't matter what he says his name is on the screen. His name is James. And he sent in a fantastic visual dad joke, which I will share early on in the show this morning so as not to forget it. Pete's here too. How you doing, Pete? And Deagle. Thank you, Deagle, for that thread about learning the Portuguese language. How is your Portuguese going? Darren J also here, and Andy Klein with a good morning, everyone. Interesting fact for Carl, it is an hour ahead in Spain. Yes, you learn some things the hard way, don't you? Yes, just to update you on whether I should use clickbait or not more in my advertising of shows. I think we're about neck and neck. That version of my interview with Stuart is 162 views at the moment. And because a lot of people watch on catch up, and good morning to you, or good afternoon to you, or whenever you're watching it, hello to you, bon dia to you, boa tarde to you, boa noite to you. If you're watching any of our shows on catch up, please send us a message and we'll include it in real time. But that was, 160 or so when I spoke to Stuart using that and advertising it with the bad Morning Portugal, and 164 on the usual normal version. So neck and neck, but clearly with the combined total there, a very popular guest indeed. And I hope to get Stuart back sometime soon to give you the coverage of the Iberian Peninsula, the IP. What is it about spinach? That was the opening meme this morning. Someone told me yesterday, Phil, in fact, at the meetup, he likes it when I stick my head round the side. Hello. Of the meme in the morning. I do too. And that, folks, is 45 bags of spinach. And interestingly, we're always chronicling, documenting the differences and the specialness of Portuguese culture. That's not what I've come to recognize as Portuguese spinach. The Portuguese spinach is a bit more like the perpetual New Zealand spinach, I think it's also called, rather than that flat leaf there. But why is it? It's incredible, isn't it, when you put a massive bag of spinach in the steamer and it comes out looking like that. Thank you very much, Emma, who brought that to my attention on Facebook. Love those memes. Send them to me on 913-590-303 if you want to get something on the screen, as James has done this morning. Who doesn't like that first thing in the morning? A bit of heavy breathing, Darth Vader style. So, do you like elevator jokes? Is that Darth Vader? Not quite, is it? I'll have to work on that. Please stop, says Luke, because they work on so many levels. Why do you like elevator jokes? Because they work on so many levels. So true, so good. Sorry to give you that visual dad joke without the dad joke warning. More dad jokes to come, of course, because T-Duck is back and sharing those dad jokes himself on the screen this morning. Bobby O'Reilly also in. Good morning to you, Bobby. How you doing this morning? We were going to be speaking to you tomorrow. We will speak to you next Friday instead, and we'll be talking to your colleague Ricardo tomorrow. Looking forward to that. So good morning to you, Bobby O'Reilly of Your Home, as you can see on the screen there, our channel partner sponsor. Great to have you working with us here, Bobby, and looking forward to sharing more about the wonderful Herdade de Mayo concept, the off-grid living concept, and talking to you about that a week tomorrow. Have a great day. Deagle, Health workers were not out yesterday. School teachers, university lecturers, civil servants, and postal services were presumably striking in the UK. And I wonder how they got on over there. Deagle, let us know. Send us pics if you like. People keeping warm around, excuse me, people keeping warm around braziers, I suspect, in these current temperatures. It's staggered. Okay, yes. So certainly a winter of discontent feared, and now a reality around the UK. Staggered daily, different sectors striking, bringing their plight to the attention of everybody, and especially the government, who may or may not offer them a pay rise. How do you think it's going to turn out, Deagle? What is the game plan? What is required? And do you think it's actually going to turn out that way? Springsteen played his first gig on the world tour last night in Florida. Not long till he's in Ireland, going to 3 concerts. But it's great seeing Springsteen in Ireland. Darren's off to Coimbra today. Have a great day, Darren. Enjoy your search and your exploration, your scouting around Portugal. Public in UK are very supportive, says Deagle, even if a little disruption in their lives is being felt. Yesterday was Walkout Wednesday. My goodness. Yes, Pete asking you if you were on strike. I think you've updated us there, Deagle. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Pete. Hola, bon dia, Gumpers. Bon dia, alegria, Gumpers. From T-Duck. So nice to be back, you say, T-Duck. It's so great to have you back. And deep thought then, it is good. This is Ursula K. Le Guin again. Guin again. It is good to have an end to journey towards, but it is the journey that matters in the end. That's very good, isn't it? Excellent stuff. And while we're here, the Portuguese saying of the day, de ao diabo que el del. Give the devil what is his. My goodness. Okay, what does that actually mean? I wonder. If you've got devilish feelings and thoughts, maybe give them back, surrender them at hell's door, rather than taking them with you into the day to day. I don't know. What do you think? Let us know. I'm going to put my email address on the screen there, and I've got something in my throat, which isn't especially advantageous when you're trying to do a live stream. Later on today, Portuguese culture, language, and Munson's money moment all rolled up into one this morning when we're talking about the Portuguese escudo, which I found out this morning is still in use in Cape Verde, one of the former Portuguese colonies. So we'll be looking at that. A Munson's money moment in the third half-hour segment of Good Morning Portugal this morning. We'll be talking about the Portuguese escudo. If you've got anything to say about the Portuguese escudo, or if you've got one and you want to send a picture in, please do that on 913-590-303. And before that, of course, Fabrizio and Ian, we're talking about the difference between having a buyer's agent and a real estate agent and how they work. That's us today after the Gumper Gathering, of course, which we're doing right now, as we do between approximately 8:31 and 9 o'clock each morning. So Fabrizio and Ian joining us from Project Lisboeta, talking about the difference between using a buyer's agent, what a buyer's agent can do for you, and a real estate agent. I'm going to have a little bit of a cough now, not in front of you, not over you. I went to Foz de Relio, which I think some of you will remember from a couple of days ago, and this delightful picture here. Look at this, the fish in the water. And I was told what they were. They're not especially tasty, quite oily, was what Joe Pascual was saying to us on Facebook. I think he grew up around that area. I've got a video now to expand upon the incredible atmosphere that was there a couple of days ago. Last day of January, would you believe? Look at this sunshine on the last day of January here in Portugal at Foz de Relio. I'll be back after this. Now that, my friends, is dedicated to Mrs. M, because we had such a lovely day there. I put that on YouTube, dedicated to the wonderful, beautiful Mrs. M. I played it to her, and she said, "I don't really like the music." What do you think of that? I thought that music was really special. I'm looking for my phone as well on the desk. I might have to pop out and get that so that we can do the biggest phone in as well. From I don't know where I left it. Oh dear, that could be awkward a little bit later on this morning. Okay, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that and that the music wasn't too off-putting for you. Dougie Hughes saw it on YouTube late last night and said it was interesting to see a Portuguese, or good to see a Portuguese fish not actually on a plate. Well said, well said. I think we know the reason why now, because of Joe's comments. Because they're not especially tasty. Otherwise, they probably would be. And here's Doug this morning. Greetings from a not especially warm but sunny Sagres this morning. How are you doing, Doug? I hope you're feeling better. Catherine's also in, taking step 2 of the D7 waltz. That's a lovely way to look at it. Dancing into Portugal, or dancing into your new Portuguese life there. Taking step 2 of the D7 waltz today, opening the Portuguese bank account. Good luck with that. Allow plenty of time. Take a book, a packed lunch, and exercise your wrist. You'll be signing although I suppose they're making some sort of gesture towards a paperless society. They're certainly not making any gestures towards a signatureless society, or giving your autograph nearly 30 times in the process of opening a bank account, I think, as I recall. So yes, rock star attitude is needed as you use the digital stylus to pen your signature many times in the process of opening a Portuguese bank account. I would leave at least half a day, maybe even the whole day. If it's quicker than that, if it is truly only a half an hour or an hour, you'll have time to spare. But if you haven't allowed enough time, you'll be frustrated and stressed. It can take a little while to open a Portuguese bank account. Good luck with that today, Catherine. Let us know how you get on tomorrow. And I haven't brought my wallet either. Oh, what was I thinking? Inside my wallet now, instead of carrying my British passport, as I've been doing for the last 5 years, with a couple of A4 sheets of paper folded into it, the crew document, and then the Brexit QR code piece of paper as well. I can now, thanks to the postie who came yesterday and got me to sign for my WABC card. So great news. It feels, it's interesting, isn't it? On the one hand, I am a free man, not a number. And then I was really glad to get my picture of myself with a number on it, showing that I am indeed a number after all. But it was strangely reassuring as well. If you want any help with that, just let me know. If you're dragging your feet, as I know some people are, with the WABC, and with these things, the longer you leave it, I think sometimes the harder it can get. Misses. If any of you post or pre-Brexit Brits, you'll be a pre-Brexit Brit able to qualify for that. But post-Brexit, you need to make that change from pieces of paper into the new plastic WABC card. So I got mine yesterday, and it was 5 years, Pete. Is the amount of time on that particular card. Some I think are getting 10, some are getting 5. So I was quite delighted to get that yesterday. Lucinda Passas is here. Not seen you before, I don't think, Lucinda. Good morning to you. You're very welcome. Good morning, guys, you say to us. And Wayne, look, I've got a fantastic picture of Wayne's house. It's a bit like I know where you live, isn't it? I kind of do. Because he very kindly sends me pictures of the house build in progress. Here you go. Carpe Diem, literally building a new life in Portugal. Look at that. That's amazing. How many are you building? Are there 3 distinct dwellings there, Wayne? But that's so great, isn't it? To see that sort of progress. And thank you very much for inviting me to the topping out ceremony. I'd love to be there and meet your architect and probably some of the other individuals who are involved in the creation of this fabulous project. So thank you for sharing this process with us. The first part of the journey is over on our blog, and I'll add these pictures as well as they come in to that blog too. So thank you very much. Anyone interested in building their own home in Portugal, that's where to look, the Gumper blog at goodmorningportugal.com. Thanks to Wayne, who sends in these pictures and videos, makes videos actually on YouTube. Wayne, if you want to put in your YouTube channel address into the comments so people can see for themselves your progress via video as well, the magic of video, then please pop your YouTube channel into the chat as well. But that's great progress. I think I've had a few other things sent in this morning. Oh, M&Ms, free M&Ms. John is on his way. John Heimbach will be with us next week live on the show, originating from Colorado. One of those, part of the Colorado to the Ponta de Lima effect, a home in Ponta de Lima, also recently built, and flying over in the lounge where M&Ms are free. Isn't that great? Free drinks and free M&Ms. It's kind of weird, isn't it? It's a habit I think many of us don't grow out of. There was some M&Ms knocking about in the house yesterday. Portuguese copies, not your original M&Ms, but some Portuguese copies that I think we got from Intermarché or somewhere like that. And I had to open them and help myself to a few, and then a few more, and then a few more after that. But here in the airport lounge, John and Pam are experiencing the M&Ms flowing freely. And they probably have to top that machine up quite a few times a day, don't they? And if you want to be a real diva about it, you could ask for a machine that dispenses only blue M&Ms. But isn't that lovely? A nice touch there. Wood structures in Portugal. What reality am I in? Interesting question from James there about your erection. Wayne, that is very impressive, I've got to say. Oh, look, Philomena's just popped in as well. Hola, bom dia, gente maravilhosa. How are you, Philomena? Has everybody calmed down after the festa at Miranda de Corvo? And we discovered, to our disappointment, that nobody wins a live ram anymore. They win an electric scooter, which is quite the 21st century change, isn't it? Who won it, Philomena? And do we have a picture of the happy? I know we're going to play your videos of the festa when we see you next time. Looking forward to that. Wait, what would? Says James. Yes, it can happen. Okay. Bon dia, ladies, says the charming Antonio F as well. What about us fellas? Antonio F. I hope we get a greeting as well. Sorry if I've missed you. I will scan the chat and the comments. And I'm leaving that picture of M&Ms on the screen for far too long. What's going on? Oh, and a wonderful moon this was from yesterday. Delighted to share it with you from Owen this morning. Hope you're feeling better, mate. You weren't feeling particularly well yesterday. I think we managed to cheer you up a little bit, and you were still able to capture this incredible picture of was this a waxing gibbous section of the moon's the vision of the moon as we experience it from as us earthlings here. But that's fabulous. That needs to go up in the Gumper Gallery as well. No sooner have I put your sliver of a waning crescent, or was it a waxing crescent? Anyway, it was a beautiful crescent moon that you photographed in black and white in mono. Here you are with a beautiful blue, blue moon, kind of, but not, I'm sure not accurately, technically a blue moon, but a fantastic picture nonetheless. Keep them coming on 913-590-303. Other Gumper gatherings, we had a fantastic meetup yesterday. A few new people yesterday, actually. It was slightly different. I think the mainstay, the regulars, had a little meal somewhere else, is what I'm guessing, and then popped along. I didn't get a chance to chat to a lot of people yesterday because we were mixing it up with some family time on the beach at San Martino de Porto. But the regular gang came a little bit late, and that allowed a few newbies to come along and introduce themselves in a way that, when you turn up to an expat group, sometimes it does feel a bit cliquey, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know how you get around that, really. Our lot are very friendly, so they don't let people sort of hover on the periphery. I've been to expat groups like that where no one said, "Hi, have you come for the expat group?" Just let you stand on the edge awkwardly until you drift away, or it's some sort of test maybe to see if you can penetrate the inner workings of that expat group with confidence. As a little bit of a test to see if you're going to fit in. We're not like that on our Silver Coast meetup. Come along on a Wednesday, every Wednesday between 1 and 3. And so nice to meet some new folks yesterday as well. And good to see the old regulars too. June, your knitting is fantastic. June brings her knitting along to our meetup as well. Maybe she'll teach the rest of us at one of these wonderful days in the Bay that we are. I knew the mention of waxing would prompt comments. But maybe June will talk to us and teach us, give us some hands-on action when it comes to a bit of knitting. She's incredible. She was wearing some of her creations, and very gifted she is to. Morning to you, June, here in San Martino de Porto. Is a waxing crescent a Portuguese version of a Brazilian? Okay, I will ignore that, having read it out, and go to your God's Squad tip of the day. Thank you very much. Bon dia alegria, you say. Weather a little milder today, so coffee walk this morning, training this afternoon, and coaching in the evening. Busy day. As athletes improve, the coaching becomes more technical. I love it. So that's what you'll be doing later on today. Have we got a God Squad tip of the day from you? Maybe that's a little bit further on. Yes, here it is. A simple but effective exercise to help lower leg and ankle strength. Walk on tiptoes for 10 meters. And we want video of you walking on tiptoes for 10 meters through your local neighborhood, please. Heels as high as possible. And I think he means not your high heels although definitely send a video if you're trying that out. Heels as high as possible, then walk on your heels with toes as high as possible. Yes, please send in your submissions for the new ministry of silly walks here on. Well, it's good for you. It's not just to humiliate yourself in public. It is to help yourself strengthen your ankles there and your lower leg. And also to give your friends and family and complete strangers a little smile on their face as well as they see you coming past doing that. Thank you for that God Squad tip of the day. Fantastic. Belfast weather report. Bon dia, Carlin Gumpers from a wet Belfast, but a very mild 8 degrees overnight and 12 degrees later. Here in San Martino de Porto, 4 degrees currently. And as Michael Heron was saying to me yesterday, yeah, it does feel chillier by the coast, and it's one of the prices you pay for being near the water. But my goodness, it was fantastic being near the water as it warmed up yesterday. How are you doing, Andy? Thank you for your message this morning. Good morning, everyone. And let me just see what else I have to share visually this morning. Oh, yes, excellent. A couple of food news items. Sorry, they're on the Silver Coast. It just depends on who can be bothered to send things in. If you feel like your part of the country is underrepresented when it comes to the Gumper map or events, then you know what to do about that. Enter your own events on the Gumper map or send things in to me this morning. Simon Gotto's been in touch from the Rex Bar in Obidos, the Mexican Affair. Here on Good Morning Portugal, we're talking about Mexican and Egyptian food for a moment now. The Mexican Affair, it's a lunch this coming Saturday, day after tomorrow. Entrada nachos, that's your entrada, will be nachos and guacamole. Your prato principal will be pork and green chili stew. The sobremesa is guava and with a cream sauce. Price is 17.50 euros there and includes either a Pacifico or Modelo beer or a margarita on arrival. There will be plenty of Mexican beer available for the event. Reservations in by Friday evening, please. The Rex Bar in Obidos for that one, and Cairo in Caldas de Reina also have introduced a new, what do you call it, a line, a new feature over there at Cairo, and it's called the Tablia from Cairo. And it'll be available from the 8th of February if you fancy coming to Caldas de Reina and seeing a riot of nutritious colour on the table, as you can see there. I think this kind of eating is great. Very social, lots of double dipping going on. sharing, creating immunity through double dipping and beautiful color and nutrition there with the Egyptian tablia there. New from Cairo, if you want to eat your meal really like the Egyptians, so eat like an Egyptian, we have prepared for you a meal of the most delicious, authentic Egyptian food for 4 people. A group of dishes that you know from Cairo Restaurant, mixed with some of the dishes that we offer for the first time. Fantastic. So you can give them a call on 960-331-739 for that and enjoy eating Egyptian style with Cairo. Fantastic. I think we our special guests this morning, Fabrizio and Ian, are already in the green room. We may have to bring them on. I think they're chomping at the bit here to get on and join us and tell us the difference between buyers agents and real estate agents. Let me just make sure we've said hello to everyone, however, this morning, and then we'll bring them on to the screen. Chinese food mentioned now. I saw one being built across the street from... Oh, okay. Is this a wooden home being built across the street from the Chinese restaurant? I wonder if that's in the listing as well. Very handy for the A1, as well as the Chinese restaurant over the road. This is the sort of thing that we'll talk about with Fabrizio and Ian. Can you find me somewhere near a Chinese restaurant, please? Probably. In Ribamar last week, first time ever. Maybe it's a new trend. Is this? I think we are talking about wooden buildings. Grilled sardines. Why are you saying that, Pete? Those fish in the video were not actually sardines. They were 3 or 4 times the size of the little sardines, which I did beg for forgiveness from Gilda on Tuesday evening, because I cooked. Forgive me, Saint Gilda, for I have cooked sardines in the oven. I did it again last night. I don't know if she'll ever be able to find it in her heart to forgive me. I have a terrible moon dad joke up there at the beginning. Okay, excellent. We'll do that before we talk to Fabrizio and Ian this morning. Wow, love the moonshot. We should be going back there soon. Is that after you've built your house? That's the moonshot that's being talked about. Let me see if I can find Pete's joke to perfectly accompany that. I think you're probably in early with that one. And I dread to think what your moon joke is, but we're going to read it out anyway. Talking about, oh, Peter, honestly, I can't find it, Pete. You may have to reinsert it. And who doesn't like a reinsertion first thing in the morning? I can't see your moon joke to go beautifully with Owen's picture there. Ah, well, this is all I can find from you. Well, it is nice that the Bank of England has put up interest rates, so everyone has higher mortgages to pay. There's a cheerful thought. Okay, yeah, those numbers were coming out today, weren't they? So how much higher has the interest rate gone up today? Do let us know. And I think the ECB will also introduce its rates today. I never thought I would be saying that. T-Duck did like the music of the fishy video. I like the music and the sun reflections, haunting and reflective. Very subjective, and very glad that you like. And you can see I'm trying to buy some time here, reading a few other comments while I come back to Pete's moon joke. But sadly, I can't find it. Ah, well, never mind. I'm sure we'll find it later on this morning. But now, here on the Good Morning Portugal show, let's give them a big round of applause. Oh, no, that's the wrong jingle. I can't give them one of these before they start. That's for other people who come to the Good Morning Portugal show who can't control their potty mouths, unlike my wonderful guest this morning. Here's a round of applause for them. Oh, yes, that's right. That's what they deserve. And let's bring them onto the screen. Fellas, how are you?
Morning. Good morning.
Hello, Bon dia, alegria. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, good. We're good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, pretty good. I was a little bit of a cough attack, which is always a little bit difficult in this situation of a morning.
Yeah, it will be challenging.
I'm very glad you're here to ease the load a little bit, as we have a lovely conversation this morning about buyer's agents, of course, which that is how you would describe yourselves, I think. Is that right?
It is, yes.
Okay, you own
that
title.
Right.
Yeah, okay. As opposed to the real estate agent, well, realtor, real estate agent, estate agent, if you're from the UK.
All those together.
Yes, yeah. And the merits of being a buyer's agent. Before we get into those technicalities, I want to find out how you are, how Lisbon is. Has it been chilly in the capital for you?
Freezing, really. Yeah.
We didn't come here for this, did we? We did not come here for this.
No.
Okay, sorry to hear that. How have you been keeping warm, dare I ask?
We have a fan heater from
just in case of emergency.
One fine import from the UK, and we didn't really go out after 6 p.m. So our daily routine is just
living the dream.
Shifted so early, so we very early in day out in the morning. It seems to be quite sunny at least for the last week.
It's good in the afternoon. I mean, once it gets to about 1, it's actually quite pleasant till about 7, 6 or 7, and then after that it just drops off again.
So we worked a little bit more, and we went to the gym a little bit more because it's warm, and then back home. And
this is how the Portuguese do it, isn't it? Of course, we can get through this. That bit of coldness each year, because we know the hot weather's coming. We will put on our modern fan heater, and we will put on extra clothes, and we'll go out and keep warm, because it's sometimes warmer outside than it is inside.
Most of the time, yeah.
well, glad to hear it. And how's business? How are things going? Lots of people still wanting to come to Portugal, and I'm sure, especially to the capital. How are things going?
Yeah, good. There's a lot of inquiries, a lot of
picking up again since Christmas. Christmas was a bit of a lull, obviously, because everybody's doing other things like buying presents and eating food. But
coming back again. It's torn, isn't it? Of course. And those interest rates seem to be going up. We're just hearing in the chat there. Bank of England rates gone up. And I think the Bank of England and the ECB tend to copy what's going on in the United States, don't they? So do you watch those sort of stats, or do you find them too depressing?
I do, because I say I'm the spreadsheet guy, so I always look for
So what do you
remember from our previous conversation?
Yes, spreadsheet guy. What do you make then of the interest rate hike? How's that going to affect?
Well, I mean, it's going to carry on, but I guess that inflation is a yearly thing, isn't it? So it's always based on the past year. So you have to think that the big rise started to happen from last February. So that to me says that it can't keep on going up. Therefore, rates have to sort of plateau a bit, and then they will start to come down. But it's just how soon that will happen, really.
Yeah.
Let's just hope it's temporary. I can't believe it's it can go on for that long. So let's hope it's just for the next year or so that really has an impact, and see how we go from there.
Within
So
the
it's
general,
still lower here anyway. It's still lower in Europe than it is in the UK or the US. So that's one.
the inflation rate. Yeah,
Yeah.
and within the general rise, as you're talking about over the year, it has cut back a little bit here in Portugal, isn't it? Though those were the official figures, it would seem.
Yeah.
What did you make of the article? I'm sure you saw this, the article and video that was circulating about Portugal being alleged to be the first to experience a property bubble burst here. Are you keeping an eye on that as well? 90%.
Yeah, I think there's kind of long. I saw that video actually, and it's interesting. I think there's two sides to the story. So I think that didn't quite explore the fact that, first of all, things were a lot lower. Everybody started from a much lower point in interest rates. I know there's this big problem of saying there's a lot of people who took variable rate mortgages when they didn't take fixed mortgages. That was a big concern.
Yes.
But I don't quite, the point is, though, of course, they were always a lot cheaper than fixed rate mortgages. So people probably profited from a long time ago and didn't profit, and now maybe can afford to weather their way through it. And I'm sure this time, unlike last time, if people do start to run into problems, the banks will be a bit more sympathetic and will probably be able to alleviate that rather than, maybe by
punish people,
just changing the length of the loans. Yeah, exactly. There's something that can be done in the short term. And obviously, yes, as you know as well, the government are putting a big push to try and force the banks into allowing people to swap.
Yes.
With less conditions, with less problems of having to pay out if they transfer mortgages and that kind of thing. So
it makes much better sense, doesn't it? Rather than causing a massive societal upheaval. Yeah. Why would
it also, I suppose, doesn't take into, a lot of that was about the property bubble, but it doesn't take into account that a lot of obviously richer countries are still moving over here, and many of those are cash buyers.
Yes.
So, it's, the property price here is out of whack with everybody else. So it has still been going up in Lisbon and in Portugal in general, and many of the other sort of countries where property is lower priced. It's kind of the really overpriced ones. Like the London market, San Francisco has gone through, some of the American states have already gone through 10, 11, 12% drops in prices. Yes. So, yes, it may go down, but then property prices, everybody's been saying that for about 3 years, they were probably going to go down, including during the pandemic. And of course, the opposite happened. So,
and no one really knows nothing, do they? Great showbiz phrase. No one knows nothing. Yeah. We just wait and see, don't we? And see what happens there. Yes, forgive me. Banks being sympathetic? Question mark. Well, you never know. You never know.
Well, I say they're being sympathetic. I think that they have no choice, because if you start throwing people out and property prices drop, then also you end up just like 2008, 2010, when you've got a lot of properties that you can't offload, and therefore end up getting bailed out. I don't think that's going to happen again.
Yes, quite, and it won't be from altruism, will it? I don't suppose it'll be just for a practicality of saving themselves some trouble. So yes, good point, Duck. I think there.
Yeah, I'll keep my fingers crossed though that this time, that they are actually being a bit more sympathetic.
Yes, yeah. Wouldn't that be a great entrepreneurial intervention, rather than us all being at the mercy of these folks that T-Duck seems to be pointing a finger at there? That there were other methods, other vehicles of lending and looking after people. That might include, the people in Lisbon, the Lisboetas, the Alfacinas, being able to stay in their own city as well. It's not beyond our intelligence, is it? And on our collective goodwill to create something that would really work for people. We just leave it to the banks, don't we? And then complain about them. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe a great entrepreneur will come and deliver a more altruistic, sympathetic banking system and a financing system one of these days. Who knows? It's all relative when it comes to the weather. I'm used to the cold UK weather. Lisbon is tropical for me. Do you remember those days, guys?
We do actually. And it's funny because the other day it was about 10 degrees and we're like, God, it's freezing. We don't have.
Yes, and you'd have loved that, wouldn't you?
10 degrees was kind of about 4 or 5 months of the year.
Yes, I was wearing a T-shirt in Lisbon this week. You can tell all the newcomers who haven't acclimatized just yet. Darren J being one of them.
We're speaking 4 or 5 years, Darren. When you're acclimatized,
I'm the same. I am definitely doing I wear 2 coats indoors. I would never have done that 5 years ago. It's incredible how your body adapts to these things. I was thinking, I've got to go and live in Africa. This is ridiculous. But I'll be complaining again within a few years, I'm sure. We found the moon joke. I've got to do this. It seems only right that we do this, right? We got a lovely big. Is effulgent the right word? But look at I think there's some waxing going on there with that lovely picture from Owen, and the comment that goes with that is, how does the moon cut his hair? Eclipse it. Okay. Was it worth going back for that? I don't know.
Why not? No. I should. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right, buyers agents then, and real estate agents, realtors, and estate agents. What's the difference? And it's quite a new phenomenon as well, isn't it?
It's quite a new phenomenon here. I think it's quite an older phenomenon in the US. I think the US is quite used to that concept. The UK, it's coming. It's coming a bit more in the UK, slowly but surely. The key, I suppose one thing is to understand what a real estate agent is doing, and also in Portugal it's slightly different as well. So the reason why I say that, it sounds like a strange thing to talk about, but certainly in the UK and the US, it tends to be when you put your property on the market, you obviously put it on with one agent, and as I think we're probably aware, if you have to go and buy somewhere, you go to that one individual agent. There's no other channel through. You can't ask another estate agent to speak to them. In Portugal, there's a big part of the market, which is that many estate agents, not all of them, but many of them do this thing called partilhas, which means that actually they will split the commission. If one estate agent has, like I go to one estate agent, they may say, oh, we'll help you look around for a property. They find a property with another estate agent. They discuss with them. Then they might present it back to me. I go look at it and say, yes, I'm interested in that. And then all the negotiation then is with the estate agent I first spoke to, but also via the other estate agent, and all the sale process goes through. And when the sale finishes, a certain amount of the commission that the original estate, the actual estate agent made on it, they will give to my intermediary estate agent. So, there's that kind of split between it. And that varies somewhere between usually about 30 to 50%, depending on that commission, depending on how they do it. So the one thing that I think some people, and you often see commentaries of, is that many people find an estate agent that starts speaking to a property, and then suddenly that estate agent does help them out, and they will obviously take over, and they can, will also try and introduce them to other properties in a similar way to what you understood from buying agent. Because the buying agent really is somebody who just takes that bit away from you. They'll kind of filter out the property, and that's part of our kind of role to say, what's your requirements? Oh yes, you want somewhere, you've got, you're a bit elderly, you want a lift, you want this, that, and the other. You see a lot of adverts, and you can filter out various different things based on their criteria, and then present them back with saying, well, these are a set of suitable properties, And also with the language barrier, of course, we can also accommodate for that, because as we found out when we first came over, we saw properties, we rang estate agents, and they didn't speak English, so we were blocked. We were trying to find out details, and with our 7 words of Portuguese, we didn't get very far. So
7.
8.
That many?
6.
8.
Okay.
6. Okay.
He had 8. I had 6. So. But you see what I mean? It's kind of we can take out that bit of it. But then I suppose the question sometimes comes back is, where can we help out more than what you could do if you went to an estate agent that took over this role of helping you out and speaking to others? And of course, the one thing is that we don't realistically have, we're not getting a final, we're not basing it on commission or anything else that we might get. So we're working purely for whoever our client is. And our main job is to make sure, first, they find their ideal property, but secondly, we get the best deal for them. So of course, we're differentiated between, it's not to say that, I'm not going to turn around and say an estate agent could be dishonest about doing anything like this, or try and push the price, or because they're both working off a smaller commission, they might be trying to, push that a little bit higher just to make that bit more commission. But obviously, there is a slight conflict of interest there, whereas we don't have that same conflict. So there's two sides to what we're helping out on, really. One is just to make sure that, you know, the communication is there, that you can talk directly to the person, and also we can talk to individuals, because some properties that are on the market are not marketed by estate agents. So
yes,
many of those clients, you know, if an estate agent rings up, they will just not speak to them. Whereas we can at least also address that market as a buyer's agent, which is out of the realm of, you know, of what the estate agent would do, because they'll be interested in getting that on their books.
Yeah. Well, I think the main difference is who do you work for, really?
Yeah.
yes,
Because we work exclusively for our clients,
yes,
which are either buyers or people that is interested in renting property. Obviously, a lot of our clients, not all of them, but close to that, this process of buying or renting is connected to a visa process.
yes,
Or a visa application. So we work exclusively for our clients. We have a brief, we deliver this brief, we get a commission, we get paid for this service by our client to provide this kind of mediation and search. And we don't work for either the homeowner or the seller or the company that is selling we're not involved in any of that transaction.
yeah.
We negotiate prices. That's what we do in terms of the sale or renting process, but we're not involved to any money that comes out of that transaction. So we don't.
Of course, it's a huge vested interest, isn't it? And with the Partilha system, you might find yourself working against almost the agents who are working together with each other and and the original home owning client to get the best possible deal, and then you're kind of being ganged up on. And then to add insult to injury, they say we've also got a lawyer you can use as well. So, and this is in many ways you're the other end of that spectrum, aren't you? Of being there at the side of the home buying client rather than a small group of people who are trying to sell you a house for the best possible price.
We sometimes discourage people to make decisions when probably the sell side of this business will say to you, you must make a decision now for this. So we put all this dynamic into place because it's the core nature of our business is true, but also our business comes from our own experience.
Yeah.
So we were those people. We still are in a way further down the line, but we still are those people that move from a place to another one and readjust to life. So it's a bit more complex in terms of the full figure is of a different nature. Our client is someone else. Yeah,
excellent stuff. And one of the things I think you said, Ian, earlier on was to know what's going on, and that's particularly difficult, I think, sometimes, isn't it? Dealing with in the new country with professionals who work in a slightly different way, to actually know what's going on. It can be quite difficult, and that you're there specifically on the side of the buyer, asking difficult questions, and some of the difficult questions, and progressing things for them. We've got our first question in from Sarah. Good morning, Sarah. Great to have you here this morning. Do you think that real estate agents in Portugal avoid buyers agents if they have a lot of inquiries on a property from individuals? I specifically am referring to rentals. Well, I suppose they mightn't they? Given what we've said, it might be that if they deal directly with individuals, they might be able to add quite a lot of value, so to speak. And I mean, I heard somebody. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I guess if there's a lot of people, though, it's the age-old problem, though, isn't it? Because once somebody gets a lot of people, it's very easy for the estate agent to put them in competition anyway.
Yes.
So even if I was to walk in and say, well, we'd like to offer you a lower price, if they've got 10 people who are already interested in the property, then unfortunately it will always go to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether they're really avoiding.
No, I don't think so. We work with a lot of estate agents and we deal with them constantly. And actually, I get forwarded a lot of options that comes through the market for potential clients. Yeah. So I don't think we get the communication get avoided with people that does our job. Yeah. In talking about the rental market, it became an incredibly aggressive scenario.
Yeah.
So I guess the number of inquiries and everything seems to be more efficient if it's done faster. So that's why we recommend our people that work with us to make up their mind either before or to be very reactive at the time that we're speaking to them, because it might waste a journey or a trip or a lot of precious time.
Yeah, because also people do want to rent very quickly. I think that's not quite answering the question, but that's one thing that people have to be aware with. That I think we said this before, that once a property goes on the market in Portugal, it's already empty. So it's already not earning money often, because it's very rare that you'll see people showing people around a property that's occupied.
Yes.
But of course, everybody wants to get something done quickly, and there's a lot of competition out there. So, it's a double-edged, it's a big problem, because it works in both ways. There's kind of, it seems like a long process. Some things seem on the market for a long time, but then also people are pushing to get things done very quickly.
Yeah.
However, we do get contacted by some estate agents, as Fabrizio said, before they put properties, when they've heard about them, to say, oh, you remember you had these clients, we've got a couple of things going here that are about to come up. So
perfect. Yeah, that's what you need. That's what you need. Yeah, the inside track. Superb. Okay, and of course, the other thing you mentioned, a different kind of added value, is all the other things you do for your clients, which you're probably not going to get from a real estate agent. You might. There are some exceptional.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. That's right.
And they are, however, they are often the exception that proves the rule. That I mean, let's sort of deal with what we tend to hear. What's the worst kind of cliche about Portuguese property market is that there are 10 million estate agents here, right? Everyone, including the kids, everyone knows someone selling a property, and everyone's kind of on the make in a way, aren't they? Because everyone, is looking after each other. And I understand this. I'm not criticizing it. It's just the way the culture seems to work. Everyone knows somebody selling a property, whether or not it's really for sale. You don't know if they're one of 10 relatives and they're the only one who wants to sell it. So you can get into all sorts of situations like that. Yeah. But I think what you're talking about here and what we're dealing with, and it is early days, is a different kind of professional coming into the market, being very much client focused, and getting the job done. And I think that will change the industry, won't it? I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, is that it does need to change, doesn't it, in many ways. A lot of it is a little bit kind of sloppy and trading on old kind of ideas.
Yeah, so I mean,
it could be at times, and what I think it puts on a different edge, that we are not sales individuals. We sell our services to our clients. This is true, but we're no sales professionals. So we are a customer service based business. So what we do, we provide a service. We don't gain out of a sale process. That's why I think when we say who we work with, then what will make a difference between us and who is an estate agent. Which, as you say, there's plenty of incredible professionals, but there's also there's also a fair amount of improvised or new to the business.
That's a really nice way of putting it. Improvisational estate agency. Yes. Okay.
I don't rehearse it. I'll make it on the night.
That's really good. And I think what we're referring to here is this sort of way of doing things. I love the way that estate agents out here list properties that aren't and never have been on sale. So I guess they want to beef up their inventory, don't they? And we haven't seen this for a while. Sarah liked your answer, by the way. Excellent answer.
Thanks, Sarah.
We haven't seen this picture for a while. This is another hoot, isn't it, when it comes to Portuguese property pictures? Have you seen what's on the balcony?
Wow.
This was a listing.
I love the lifestyle suggestion.
Is that what it is? What is
yes.
this? Perfect for undertakers, or is this perfect for people who want to sunbathe on the balcony? We're still not sure what happened to this gentleman.
He's probably dead, but it's fine.
Okay. So yes, presumably you're
property.
shaking up the industry in that regard as well, and taking some nice pictures to send to people. And it may work like this, as Paul is saying. The advantage of using a buyer's agent, it saves you time. If you're not in Portugal, the buyer's agent can send you videos of the property and narrow the time. Selling agents send you to properties of no. I don't know what the last bit is, but we get the gist, Paul.
No interest.
Yeah, let's find out more about your service then and what it costs. Because another question that's come in is how much, on average, do you save people on a house purchase? So this is the value package, isn't it? You mentioned helping people with the visas as well. And really good estate agents do help people with a little trip around the neighborhood, but often they don't. Presumably that's the sort of thing you focus on as well, is the intel of the neighborhood, how people are, maybe where they're going to get supporting them with their visa process, changing their driving license, all those personal things that are part and parcel of moving to Portugal. That's where a buyer's agent might help as well.
Well, that's what I don't know in general. That's what we do.
Yeah,
because we've accumulated. Yes, I don't know what because it comes with a brief, you see.
Yeah. Okay.
So the fact that you do need one extra room because you got 2 kids also will change. Will be a defining factor of where the apartment or the house might be located. If it's close to a school, if you need to get to the metro, so all this make up. And if it's rather than downtown, you want to be somewhere that is closer to a park because you want to walk your kids and the dog, and so that is a full figure that comes with a brief. So
that's what you do. Okay, and how is it priced? How does it work? And what do you save people generally on a house purchase?
Well, how much do you save people on a house purchase? Well, what we save is effort and time and question marks that might not come with knowledge of either the area or the property market. That's what we say. Money wise, how much we save, we for our clients, we put forward offers on their behalf, but then, as we said, we're not involved with the negotiation between the agent and the homeowner.
One thing we will try and do is evaluate kind of how long it's been on the market for, whether you do think, because, we've seen properties on the market that we know have been on there for, because we look for other people probably about a month or two, and then you go there, oh, it's just come on, because it's a new agent, they probably transfer, but we happen to know from, from some of the tools that we can use that how long it's been on the market. So, of course, well, it's not really just been on the market, hasn't it? It's like, yes, I've got so many buyers, somebody's going to buy this today, get out, we can cut through that and say, okay, but reality-wise, this is how much you're going to do. So I would hope, and of course, it's subject, because I can't compare it with saying this is how much somebody else would have, this is how much you would have paid, this is how much you wouldn't have paid. I would hope that you'd at least save our fee and also save some time and more. Yeah. I would hope that that's the service we offered is to get you at least the fact that whatever we've dropped the price by is probably covers whatever we charge you.
Like all good professionals, yes.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that hopefully all the other benefits that you get out of it as well will save you time, which is a cost as well.
And presumably you can wade in with the scoffing response to the expat premiums. I heard, I was with somebody at the meetup yesterday. They're buying somewhere in Madeira, in Funchal. And they were inquiring after a property. Their cousin, I think, came along, who knew the real estate, the estate agency who were selling the property, and got it reduced immediately by 30,000 euros. Because what she'd been quoted was the expat premium price, and as soon as the estate agent saw the cousin, oh no, for you, an immediate cut of 30,000. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? And of course, that leaves a bad taste, doesn't it? But and also you can understand why it happens as well, because the expats. Foreigners, immigrants coming over here with all their money, and people are making hay while the sun shines. But presumably, you can see through that as well and help people with those.
Yeah, well, I think that's the other point as well, because obviously somebody's talking to us and they're not talking to somebody who, as the old saying goes, a bit wet behind the ears still, doesn't really know, doesn't really understand all the situation. So at least we can go in, looking like we're a bit more confident about what we're talking about than when they first come along. It's like, it's another. I mean, they may still think of us, oh yeah, another foreigner, but at least after we start to talk with them, it's like, uh-oh.
Yes. Yeah. I think maybe we can come up with a new equivalent of wet behind the ears. Maybe they've still got custard on their fingers from being tourists eating pastel de natas in Berlin. a telltale sign: custard on the tash. We could add a bit of money here. They're still high on pastel de natas coming in here buying property. Sometimes it's not about the money, says Paul, but finding the ideal property which meets most of your tick list. And of course, you're definitely going to be able to help on that front, aren't you?
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, because I mean, it's never sorry, but it's never always or only the purchase of a rental of a house. It's always a dynamic of life changing or moving from a place to another one. So is that more than an investment? We don't work with investors, you see. We don't really. Our clients are no investors. They are not someone that say to me, "Oh, I need a property." They will increase 5.2% within this year and the year, because I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm already disconnected.
You're not a spreadsheet guy.
That's it. No, even spreadsheet guy just close a spreadsheet.
It involves me as well. So
it's not a customer base. You see, we if someone say to me, I need this sort of property because I will grow my family in a year time, or I need to be more on the beach because I'm getting on with age and all the other things. Well, that's the kind of brief we work with. So yeah, it's not about the money most of the time. Is what your tick list is all about and what we can deliver according to that, because it's the only thing that we work with and towards is our brief.
And the other part is the tick list, especially on the rental side of it. I think we try to push people towards what are your real requirements, because the problem with the rental requirement is it's often so aggressive that people come in, oh yes, I want this and I want another room because people are going to visit me, but I only want it for a year because I'm going to buy visa. You know, it's like, whoa, let's see what you want now for your visa application and everything else. Let's just narrow that down, home in that, and get you something that's affordable, that will get you through that period, you know what I mean, and that will get you used to living here, because that's often what people want you on. And then let's take it from there, and maybe in a year's time, you love where you are, you'll change your mind. So, you know.
I'm guessing you're making lifelong friends in your work as well, with that level of care and attention for people in the way that you described this morning. Pete, we've known 50% reductions, but you do need a really good local lawyer, as so often a vital chunk of the property is owned by a relative. Yeah, we kind of alluded to that earlier on, didn't we? On average, Portuguese property has gone up by 30% in the last year, but life is short. And as our lawyer said, if you don't take it with you, when you cark it. Yes, it's true.
It's the first time that you heard you cark it, but it's not my first language. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what happened to this guy.
Yeah, he did cark it, didn't
he? He used to prove seize the day before you end up on your own balcony. Can you help with tiny homes or land and build tiny home purchases? We'll roll that question up with this other question from James, who incidentally is celebrating a milestone. Let's just reference that as well. 1 year ago today, I received my 2-year temporary residency. Feliz aniversario para mí. Well done, James. Congratulations. From Pete there. So yes, do you work expressly in the Lisbon area? Was one of James's questions. And can you help with the tiny home or land to build a tiny home on it? Have you had that kind of request before now?
Yes, we did. We know we work mostly in the Lisbon area because that's where we know the most, and that's where a majority of our contacts are, and it's easier for us to, because what part of our job is also to go to viewing with our clients, to go and see property before our clients. As you say, we can do remote viewings, so for us as commuting to a closer property and of an area that we know is easier. Part of our work that we do too, we review contracts and we read contract. Obviously, one other piece of information: when you sign a contract, which might or might not be translated into English or French or German, with the one that you're signing and is valid by law will always be the Portuguese version of this contract, even if it's translated. So if the translation does not match, what you will be signing is the Portuguese version anyway. So we review a lot of contracts. There's a service that we provide without, if someone is not interested in any property, that we can, in the service of us searching for the property, but they either found the property or they're in the process of signing a contract, we review this contract and negotiate before the closing of this contract. And we reviewed contracts from in places all over the country, really. Because it's a standard document that we can read and foolproof. For land, but land, you know what? I put my hands up to say that it's such a complicated,
especially in terms of building something, because because we've had so many people who have been bitten by that. They bought the land, but then find out the restrictions there, or where they can build, or there's a ruin on there, but they can't build it bigger than the ruin, or that kind of thing. So
we put our hands up to say that this might not be our field.
No, you'll find out people that's more specialised than us.
Okay. I mean, it's getting more specialised by every question. He's narrowed it down now to Ericeira, a tiny house plot in Ericeira.
Well, I mean, the plot we probably wouldn't do in terms of district. We're quite happy. We're not talking about Lisbon city itself. We would do the whole area. We would go down as far as south of the river, and we'll also go. Yes, so we would go as far as Ericeira. But again, I think if it is in terms of building something, that wouldn't be one we would take on, because you then have to find out, how the planning laws are. People have to be just aware of different areas work on different timescales. We know people who've been waiting for planning applications for a year, 2 years, sometimes then even when it's been built, because there's a final sign up which says you can live in it. There are certainly areas where people say that it could be 2-3 years before you get to that stage.
So
and that's the one that I'm always a bit nervous about saying we would go into, because you need, if you're buying a specific area, the rules of that area can be completely different to the rules of the next one. You could have 2 people build identical things in 2 different districts, and the time scales, what the requirements are, everything will be drastically different.
Yes, and that will be a very, very intensive, wouldn't it? I think to deal with it. And thank you for saying that's not your specialist area.
It's always bad to overpromise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was involved in we do a few listings on our website, not really as an income generator, more as because I just love looking at what's available here in Portugal, and we quirky things that come up. Sarah makes a really good comment about there should be a Portuguese version of the $1 Million Home TV show. But I'm just, you'd be amazing on that. You'd be amazing on that. But this one, I was helping people to connect with other people about this one. This was that's an artist visualization of a property in Sertã in central Portugal, and they bought that thinking that they would build a home on it. I think about 5 years ago. It felt like a nice little bargain, but then ran into some serious planning problems, not because they couldn't build there or it wasn't legitimate to build there, but because it was such a long and time-consuming process for that particular municipality or Câmara, and they had to get an architect involved, and eventually they got there. Now it's been sold, and I must make that clear on the site there. But that was a really good example of people coming to Portugal with a dream to live in central Portugal in the middle of nowhere, off the house maybe, and then it became nightmarish, and they're glad to have moved it on now because it just didn't work out quite as they planned. Oh, wasn't Sarah? It's the Global Nobles. Hey, great to see you here. The Global Nobles, they need to make a show like $1 Million Listing here in Portugal. It's a USA reality show about real estate. That would be funny. And I think you two will be fantastic on that.
We're available.
The reveal scenes. I mean, they're always great, aren't they? After the break, Fabrizio and Ian respond to the refurbishing quality.
Yeah, we can throw down walls with the sledgehammer and all the other stuff. That would be great.
That's obligatory, isn't it? In all of these programs, there's always a
sledgehammer.
To get your hard hat on and get your sledgehammer out and knock a wall down, and then it cuts to the break, doesn't it?
Yep. And then it's straight to plumping cushion. There's nothing in between. There's no wiring. Nothing. Plumbing doesn't exist.
Yes. The plumping cushion scene.
Yeah,
okay, when it's about to be listed and you're doing an open day or a viewing or something.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, come on. $1 million home. Please get in touch. I'd love to do the voiceover if that's possible as well.
Actually, there's a great one from Mom Gilligan, which is a great UK comedian, and it's called House Under the Hammer Time. Oh, right. And it's a great thing on YouTube, which I recommend everybody to see because he does a commentary on House Under the Hammer, which it was.
Yes, and Hammer Time bringing his own particular angle on that.
House Under the Hammer Time, I recommend it to anyone.
Thank you. That's how buyers agents relax in the evening, watching real estate-based humour. Fantastic. Got here as fast as I could. This is to you, Amelie. My flatmate has been waiting for years for a permit from Cintra. So there you go. There's another reason not to get involved in that. Leave that to the absolute niche experts on land and planning. What new build houses? I'm sorry, I'm keeping you a bit longer than scheduled.
We love it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What new build houses are there nearby Porto? Preferably on the edge in quieter places. I don't want apartments. I'm looking for detached only. Now, this is a really good question that we can generalize on, right? Because big city living does tend to be apartment-based living, doesn't it? And people getting into the whole sort of condominium, the building management issues. And Portugal works slightly differently, doesn't it? You know, there's the countryside and the houses that you see in the countryside and the villas, and there's apartment living. And suburbs are very different to how people would think of them in both the UK and the US. What would you say to this? I know Porto isn't your particular territory, but how do you find those sort of hinterland properties?
It's probably not. I mean, if it's like Lisbon, though, it's funny because it's true what you say. Some of the suburbs are like real skyscraperville almost. I mean, certainly here, though, once you go the other side of the river, you will find a lot more properties which are just detached. A lot of properties once you.
Or they can be on this side of the river, moving more towards to Cascais and to that side of it. Yeah. But obviously, a larger home and a dependent home will whack your budget. But if you got the cash, you can get whatever you want.
I suppose on the fringes, I'm sure that you don't. I mean, you don't have to go very far out of the centre. To be honest. Not my area speciality, but you will find them. I mean, you will find single houses easily. Can't be any further away than what we're finding in Lisbon. So if you're willing, probably, I don't know whether you'll get just on the outskirts or whether you'll have to go a bit further out. Depends on your budget as well. I mean, you may find in Porto, you will find some places, as you do here. There are some parts up here there are kind of just single story, but they're not cheap.
No, correct me if I'm wrong here. I grew up in London. And London has its kind of villages on the outskirts and towns, and it's all connected. It seems like and that's what I grew up with. Is you would go from one place to another, and there would be the concentrated city experience, and then it would work its way out into these satellite villages and towns, and some suburbs. And it doesn't feel like that in Portugal. I don't know so much about with America, but it doesn't feel like that in Portugal. If I'm thinking of Porto on the fringes, I'm thinking you might go right out of the city and you might go into a new town a little bit up the railway line. Or be within driving or commuting distance in a new town rather than a fringe or a suburb of the big city. That seems I might be wrong, but that's how it seems to me. It's not quite the same as people are used to from other parts of the world.
It's true.
Okay, right. So you look, and this is a really good thing to discover. Certainly in Porto, you go to Povoa de Varzim or Ponte Lima, and you'll be going to a new town. You won't really be on the fringes or suburbs of the big city, but you'll be so close and so well connected that you'll be able to experience the same metropolitan effect. So I don't know what other people think about that. A buongiorno to you as well this morning from the lady of the 7 skirts. I think you've been rumbled. Buongiorno for you guys from Mulher de Sete Seias. And then a couple more questions then before you go. Basic rules of buying property. Or this may be just a statement rather than a question. Is it legal? Is it offshore owned? And the condition and the neighbours, and these are basics, aren't they? This is in your top 10 or top 5 for your checklist, I'm sure, as the buyer's agent. Yeah, okay.
And of course, the other part about a lot of people forget when they're buying it, of course, is, especially when you're buying apartments in the city, is there's a lot of commerce underneath nearly every apartment block in some way. So it's what that commerce is and what it's doing kind of thing as well. So just knowing a bit about the area outside because you suddenly, you like the fact there's a nice cafe next to it, but you forget, of course, that they're still open at 1 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah.
You need to
those
make
kind
an
of little
adjustment
things.
to that.
Which could be handy.
It could be handy, but if it's not the lifestyle you had in mind, it could also be.
Yeah, exactly. That's a bit of a shock, really. But
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, thank you so much, both of you. Last words to you then. You did your predictions for 2023 when we last spoke. It looks like, we're going to be moving into the spring and we're going to be enjoying Lisbon, the Lisbon that you came to enjoy. And we're going to be having a lovely summer, I hope, this year. How are you seeing it in Lisbon? Is it all going according to your predictions made last month? Can you remember what they were?
No.
Yeah. No, I think it's. I mean, the one thing I said is that it was probably going to be a little less certain. What.
Yes,
what was
that's
happen
right.
between different property prices, and I don't think that's changed because obviously the latest news is saying similarly. As we said earlier on, one person's saying everything's going up, somebody else is saying everything's going to drop. So it's a very difficult. It's no less fluid, and I think only over the next couple of months will we really know what's going on. So.
Yeah, but
I my crystal ball, but it's still not working.
No, I know. I do ask some silly questions sometimes like that, looking for certainty in an uncertain world. But I think one thing's for sure: the reasons you moved to Lisbon in the first place, the magic of the city, and the beauty of the country in general, is there, and will be bathed in more and more sunshine and warmth as we go into the new year. And it still remains, despite the uncertainties of the world, remains a great place to consider and look at as for a new home. Right? No regrets from you two, I don't suppose.
No. We often think about it. We, as I said, London was part of our life so much to the core up until the day that we moved, and this city, which is smaller, which is somehow not as I don't know how to say. It's not as much as the snapshot of the world that London is still delivering in many other aspects. So we see that part of our feeling at home evolving more and more every day. So it's good stuff.
All right, I'm going to leave you. T-Ducks also, as well as that lovely comment saying how much fun and knowledgeable you are, and thank you for a great show. He also
thank you.
Praça do Comércio is a large square facing the harbour in Lisbon. This famous landmark is one of the largest squares in Portugal, covering 329,000 square feet. The square faces the Tagus River to the south. Darren, that's what I was talking about when I suggested going south of the Tagus. It is the river, the Tejo, Tagus. And the distinctive yellow-painted Pombaline-style buildings surround the other three sides. A statue dedicated to King Joseph I stands in the middle of the plaza. In case you didn't know who that was, many people have been to the Praça Comércio and thought, who's that? Rua Augusta Arch, a stone triumphal arch-like building on the northern side, leads into central Lisbon. And that, when the sun is sparkling on the water down there, it's a lovely place to be.
It's great.
So there you go. You can find out more about what Ian and Fabrizio do at allthews.projectlisboeta.com. We look forward to seeing you again next month, gents.
We do too.
All right. Okay. Take care. Have a great day in the capital. All right. Bye for now. There they go. Okay, fantastic. As you say there, T-Duck, always great fun chatting with Fabrizio and Ian. Jim White in Porto, thank you so much. Fabrizio and Ian as well. Rejoin the show. I had to take an important phone call. Okay, fair enough. You can watch it on catch up, the bits you missed, and you can join Europe's biggest phone in. When I pop to the toilet, not to use it, but that's where I think I left my phone. I'm going to play you a little video and then go and get my phone so that you can call in amid the conversation about the Portuguese escudo, which we're doing today as Munson's Money Moment. And of course, yes, I haven't mentioned to you officially yet, if you want to use Spartan FX, who are our currency partner, we now have our exclusive email address with them, gmp@spartanfx.co.uk. How cool is that? If you want to make the acquaintance of the guys over there, get yourself a free account, gmp@spartanfx.co.uk. And Munson's Money Moment today, we'll be talking about the Portuguese escudo. After having a look at a couple more of your comments, we are in an apartment. Our downstairs neighbour just purchased a drum. Oh no! An upstairs neighbour, a dog that barks for hours. But we are close to the beach, where it sounds like you spend a lot of time. Praça do Comércio Terreiro do Passo. Is that another name for it there, Antonio F? Thank you very much for that. Simon, also Simon Cyan Fi here. Thank you, Ian and Fabrizio. Very helpful. Yes, absolutely. Echoing those sentiments. Thank you, everybody. Always great to see them, and they will be back here again next month. Now, I'm going to play you a video. I think I'm going to play you, for those of you who weren't here earlier and didn't see the Fishy Fozzy video, I'm going to do it for you again now, which should give me enough time to go and find my phone, and we can open it up and have your calls on 913-590-303. I'll do that again, 00351. The Portugal code is WhatsApp, and then 913-590-303. Okay, Carl, go! I think that's lovely, that music, but I think it might be a bit of a Marmite tune. Let's get straight into it. Munson's Money Moment. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the Portuguese escudo now, the former currency of Portugal, of course, before it united with the euro currency in the Eurozone. And let me just remove, we, of course, have had Ian and Fabrizio with us. They are no longer with us, but we'll be back again next month. Let's talk about the Portuguese escudo now. From Wikipedia, the escudo, the Portuguese shield, is a unit of currency historically used in Portugal and its colonies in South America, Asia, and Africa. It was originally worth 16 silver reais. Now, this is an interesting part of the escudo story, the reais here, which I'll tell you more about now. So the escudo was originally made up of 16 silver reais, when, of course, coins had more precious metal in them and were not just mere tokens. The real was the unit of currency of Portugal and the Portuguese Empire from around 1430 until 1911. That's around the time of losing the monarchy, isn't it? It replaced the dinero at the rate of 1 real for 840 dineros, and was itself replaced by the escudo at a rate of 1 escudo to 1,000 reis. The escudo was further replaced then by the euro at the rate of 1 euro, hold on a minute, to just over 200 there. So that's how it was broken down as the currency, the escudo. The Cape Verdean escudo and the former Portuguese escudo, each subdivided into 100 centavos, are named, and they are named after the historical currency. Its symbol, the cifrão, is that, Antonio? A letter S with 2 vertical bars, like the dollar sign, superimposed and used between the units and the subdivision. So it would be like 25 escudos with that dollar-like sign in the middle, and then 50 centavos. That's how you would have seen it back in the day, long before the euro got here. Now, obsolete in Angola, Chile, the French ecu, the Mozambican escudo, Portuguese Guinean escudo, Portuguese Indian escudo. Imagine this currency was alive and well around the world in the Portuguese colonies back in the day. Timor, São Tomé and Príncipe, and also the Spanish escudo. All of those now obsolete. However, in Cape Verde, there is still the Cape Verdean escudo circulating as a currency still in use there, which is interesting, isn't it? They've got their own little sub-currency, and they're not giving it up anytime soon by the sound of it. And now if I share with you on the screen now, here as part of Munson's Money Moment, a little bit of background on the escudo, which I think is good to talk about because it's the references to, it gives you a sense of Portuguese culture as well, and language, of course. And this is leftover currency. Who knew? Leftover currency, talking about the escudo here and what you might get for a 1,000 Portuguese escudo banknote now with Dom Dinis on it. So let's have a look at this. The Banco de Portugal issued the Portuguese escudo banknotes in 9 different denominations, including this, the 1,000. It's a beautiful, let me see, if I click on it, are you able to see the expanded? Look at that for a note. Isn't that beautiful with King Dinis on there? 1,000 escudos. I love that. That looks like a proper banknote, doesn't it? And I'll tell you more about it now. If I can get out of that view. Yeah, there we go. So it's one of 9 different denominations, including the 1,000 Portuguese escudos. They are part of the demonetized Portuguese escudo banknotes series. The Banco de Portugal started issuing these 1,000 Portuguese escudo banknotes in 1965. That's when I was born. They were withdrawn from circulation in 1967. Dom Dinis in English is known as Denis of Portugal, the Farmer King, or the Poet King. We need to find out more about him, don't we? He sounds like a character, farmer and poet, and King of Portugal. He's shown on the front side of the 1,000 escudo euro banknote, dated 65. The back of the 1,000 escudo note always shows a scene of the founding of the University of Lisbon in 1290. University of Lisbon, 1290, folks. Do you have a 1,000 Portuguese escudo banknote, a Dom Dinis? Here's how to exchange it for cash. And this is leftover currency. I have no connection with them like I do with Spartan FX. I just think it's interesting talking about different aspects of money, and especially here, talking about some Portuguese currency. That beautiful banknote there from 1965, whilst we're telling you a little bit about the Portuguese escudo here. And of course, you can get little silver coins too, as well as the banknotes. There you go, Munson's money moment. Portugal has designed and produced some very nice coins, says Simon this morning. And the euro, why is that significant, T-Duck, the euro there? Bon dia, everyone. I had a fantastic evening at the Alvalade 21 Stadium last night. I thought it was tonight, but watching Sporting smash Braga with Mr. Bobby O'Reilly. His name's popping up a lot at the moment, isn't it? Deagle, glad to hear the whistle song. It's Munson's money moment. Well, I might play us out of the feature as well. It all makes perfect sense. Is that some kind of a joke there? It all makes perfect sense, expressed in dollars and cents, pounds, shillings, and pence. What is that, a line from a famous song? I'm wondering as well there, exposing my ignorance in that department. And Brazil's currency is now the Real Reais. Thank you, Portugal, from Nom de Plume there. This week known as Mulher de Seixas. Bon dia, everyone. Yes, so a 5-0 victory to Sporting last night. What was it like going to the big match yesterday evening? And yes, 1,000 escudos gold, says T-Duck there as well. It's a lyric from Roger Waters. Of course, Pink Floyd, known for their Money track, and probably a continuing obsession for Roger Waters then, the controversial Roger Waters. Thank you very much for that, T-Duck. Okay, into the last few minutes of the show this morning. We've got dad jokes to come. A nice ugununu about the Praça do Comércio there. Thank you very much for that. I think we should have a look at the weather now. Let me find you the Good Morning Portugal weather. And let us know what you're up to in the chat today. And yes, and do call in if you want to in the remaining minutes. I'm just about to connect the phone, which was where I left it earlier on. So let me just make sure I am connected. If you want to call in on 913-590-303, we are connected. Yes, we are ready for your calls if you would care to make them on Europe's biggest phone-in. 00351 913 590 303. Give us a buzz. Weather then here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Let's see if it's going to warm up as predicted earlier this week. If that promise of good weather still holds for the weekend. GMP HQ. And I think I'm still showing you the properties on there, including, of course, channel sponsors, Your Home's new development over there, Herdade de Mayo. I'm really looking forward to talking to Bobby and the team about this incredible development off-grid with T3 and T4 villas over there on the south side of the river. I knew it would happen one day, that there will be some amazing buildings taking advantage of the fact that you can get into town on the train, crossing the April 25th bridge to make your commute. This one from Forage de Moura station, which I used to use myself. Okay, let's go to the weather then. The weather page. I'm hoping that's changing for you on the screen. Yes, it is. And see what's going on. Should we have a look at the wind pattern? this morning. Oh, we haven't been to the weather station, the live feed weather station. Oh, and I don't think we'll be able to either because that takes us out somewhere else. I'll come back to that in a little while. But here, there are the wind patterns. I still don't know how to decipher this from windy.com. I just like it. I just like how pretty it is. But the arrows seem to be moving quite slowly, indicating to me that it's not going to be too windy. I don't think I would make a very good TV weatherman. But I can tell you that 7 degrees currently in the capital, rising to 14, started out at 6. And yes, still a nice looking weekend with highs of 61 Fahrenheit this coming weekend and a sunny weekend for the capital. Porto, similarly 16 on Sunday in Porto, currently 7 and will rise to 14 today in Coimbra. Nice day for you, Darren J. 16 degrees. You'll be down to probably your bare skin and getting the t-shirt off in those sort of temperatures where it will rise to 18 at the weekend. That's looking good, isn't it? Down there in the Algarve, 8 at the moment, will rise to 14 today, and weekend temperatures of 15 degrees centigrade in Braga, where the football team are nursing their wounds after that defeat by Sporting last night of 5-0. They still can enjoy 9 degrees at the moment, rising to 15, and a weekend of 17 and 18 respectively for a sunny weekend. I'm scrolling down, seeing in Aveiro, Beja, Castelo Branco, Évora, Leiria, Santarém, and Viseu, all sunny weekends to come. Highest temperatures look across the country look to be around 16, 17 or 18 degrees. Bragança, a little bit cooler, but still sunshine all the way. Guarda, similarly, Porto Alegre, Setúbal, Setúbal, Viana do Castelo as well, and Villarreal, all sunny. And apart from the Azores and the Madeira, where Aviva finds herself, and I'll show you a picture of her market in just a moment that she sent in, but it's going to be raining in the autonomous regions in the islands, and somewhat lower temperatures, certainly in Madeira, but still warm in the Azores at 16 on Saturday and Sunday. That's your weather from the Good Morning Portugal weather page. And I did tell you we're going to drill down now on the Silver Coast and go to Óbidos, where we've got Phil's weather station. Let's see what's going on there. I don't know if he's added anything to it, but this is an invitation that we are still extending to all Gumpers. If you want to install your own weather station in the way that Phil has done here, he's creating himself a permaculture plot over there near Óbidos, and these are all the sort of stats he needs. Average temperatures. There's the current conditions. It feels like 51 in the Fahrenheit over there, and the wind coming in from the east-southeast, gusting at 3.5 to 4.5 miles per hour. Dew points, precipitation rates, and pressure. If you want this sort of detail, rainfall, all of that sort of stuff in your own little weather station and want to share it with us, you can do this via wunderground.com. So thanks very much for sharing that with us, Pete. Sharing that with us, Phil. That's all over there on the Good Morning Portugal weather page, which I meant to add to the screen. I didn't manage to do it whilst I was talking about it, but there it is for you now. He's named his own weather station, the Steward's Eyes, over there, Gayrash near Óbidos. Thank you very much for that, Phil. Much appreciated. What else is going on then in the last few comments this morning? Carl. Love the moat around the ground to catch all the tears of the Sporting fans when they think about how many championships Benfica have won. A bit of football bants there. And what is it? Great to see you smashing those Qatar money clubs. Spurs have taken Sporting's best player and you still got them. What is that? The Qatar investment there. Just popped in to say hola, bon dia, kids. Thank you, Victoria. Great to see you. And I was going to show you that picture, was I not? Of that market that in Madeira. This apparently is the tourist market and not the one that Aviva goes to, but very nice it is too. Look at that. Beautiful. The colours of Madeira there, and a beautiful display at the somewhat expensive tourist market, apparently. And I think Aviva has found neighbourhood as she is now part of the neighbourhood. And not a tourist, but settling there. And we look forward to more blogs from her. This is the tourist market, but she's found other better value markets in other neighborhoods. But that's beautiful. Thank you for taking the time to send us that. And of course, we'll stick that up on the Gumper Gallery, along with anything else that people send in on 913-590-303. Please do that. I'd love to. I was looking at how brilliant actually the Gumper Gallery was yesterday. We've got some beautiful photos on there, not least some wonderful contributions from Victoria, who finds herself on the screen at the moment with her Hola Bon Dia kids from the south. We will be talking to Ricardo of the Your Home team tomorrow on the show. Looking forward to that and having a bit of some Feel Good Friday fun with you all tomorrow. Join me tonight on the Expats Portugal webinar, where we'll be talking to Jacqueline when it comes to buying a house in Portugal, a home in Portugal. Jacqueline can help you with the financing, the mortgaging thereof, not personally, but we'll connect you with the best lenders to be working with here in Portugal. So from 7:30 tonight on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel, we're talking to Jacqueline Moulin of Mortgage Direct. Look forward to seeing you then. I wish you a great day. Have a good one and see you in the morning for some Feel Good Friday fun. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you to Ian and Fabrizio. Ciao for now. Where am I going? Leaving you without doing the dad jokes. T-Duck's back. We've got to do the dad jokes. Let me find those now before we say goodbye and go into our respective days. A lot of comments this morning that I'm having to scroll my way back through. So dad joke warning. Maybe I'll do the dad joke warning in anticipation of that.
Warning.
Oh, and I can let you know that I didn't win a prize, says Philomena, but the sardines were delicious. And those were the sardines, the grilled sardines I think Pete was referring to there. And this you should know about. I was stunned to find that the hostel in Penella offers free beer on tap 24/7. Fair to say I had a few samples. That's a flipping good hostel in Penella there. Thank you very much for that. Okay, those dad jokes, let's do them. My drug test came back negative. My dealer has some explaining to do. Naughty. I went on a once-in-a-lifetime holiday. Never again. And finally, thank goodness some might say, does my wife think I'm a control freak? I haven't decided yet. Keep them guessing. Thank you very much for those. Great to have you back, T-Duck. See you all again tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Ciao for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.